Yes, yes, yes.
Go ahead, Emma. Jump in.
No, I'll let Craig do his thing.
Barber Success brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy, JC, Crown Cuts Academy, Bristol, and Craig Crown Cuts downtown Johnson City. One time for your mind. And my co-host himself, live and direct, all the way from the southwest side of Virginia.
Am I Fields? Am I your barber? Shout out Jordan Barr. Can't be here right now.
Oh yeah, special. Our co-host, he's sick today. He took the day off, but we got somebody special for you. Introduce yourself, my guy.
Dante Brown, 21. Just got into the barber industry.
21 Savage.
Nah, not 21 Savage. 21 years old.
Big. We're gonna spread love the Tri-Cities way. You know, Tri-Cities way is the only way to spread love, but the major way, the biggest way to spread love is the Crown Cuts way. Today we got a special episode. We're gonna talk about an apprentice. We got a live apprentice in the house. So we're gonna talk about what does he feel? Why is it for him? And what's going through your mind? What's going through his mind? In the state of Virginia, you could do two things. You can be an apprentice off the rip, or you can just go to school. Most people decide to go to school, and Dante decided to just go straight into apprenticeship program in Marion, Virginia at Ammi shop. Yep. So we're gonna talk about that. Ammi, lead it off. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I did an apprenticeship. Craig did an apprenticeship, and there's definitely pros and cons to either or. I'm not Dante's apprenticee. The guy that owns the shop is. He asked me, and I said, nah, because there's a lot to it. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with being an apprentice and having an apprentice. And, where I work in school right now, that's my apprentices. That's my students. That's my tutelage. So I pour into them what I have. So, but I don't, Dante, whenever he needs a question, needs help, I'm happy to help him. So.
Yes, sir.
So Dante, how did you make your mind up as far as apprenticeship or going to school? Did you ever have the thought process of going to school?
I did have the thought process on going to school, but I feel like I can't learn as much getting taught, if you know what I mean. I feel like I learn more hands-on.
Right. And you understand school is both hands-on and theory. So your thing is you feel like you would grasp it more just being hands-on.
Yes, sir.
How long you been at it right now?
5 months.
5 months. And how long is an apprenticeship when you go at it that way?
Almost around a year.
2,000 hours.
2,000 hours. So you get like how many hours? How many hours can you get a week?
You can only get
40.
40 a week.
40 hours a week.
Yeah.
So that's about.
It's like a year and a half, almost a year and a half.
So about 18 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the steps when you start an apprentice program in Virginia? What are the steps? Can you break it down? So
basically, what's required of you in the state of Virginia, you have to sign with a licensed barber who is attached to a shop. The shop has to be attached to the apprenticeship too. You're required to do 2,000 hours, log your hours, as well as do an online book course, which is Milady.
Who's logging the hours?
The barber's responsible for logging the hours.
So you have to log your hours and then turn it into.
I'm not sure who I turned it into.
They don't ever really even take the hours up when I did it. You just have to complete it within that certain amount of time, really, and prove that you did complete it and have your apprentices sign off on it.
So one day you was in your house sitting down, and how did you make your mind up to think about just being an apprentice? What came to your heart? What came to your mind?
It's like I've always liked cutting hair, and then one day I went to get a haircut from Ammi, and he's like, I think you should start cutting hair.
Uh-huh.
And then I bought my clippers, went home.
Didn't see him for months.
Didn't see me for months. I'm in the mirror, cut my own hair, cut my little brother. And I was like, it's something I can do full time. Something I want to do, get better at.
So how many days a week do you go to your apprentice? And how many hours and like what's your time? What's a day like in the apprentice? When you wake up in the morning, walk me through a day in the life of Dante going to the shop.
Wake up, jump in the shower, brush my teeth, get my clothes on, go to work at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Until about 5:30.
So you're in apprenticeship from 8:30 in the morning to 5:30.
Yes, sir.
So once you get there, what do you do from in the morning at 8:30?
I don't have an appointment. It's like I'm just waiting around on somebody to pop in, looking for somebody.
So with the apprenticeship right now, as soon as you start day one, you can start cutting hair.
I didn't start on day one. I sit around and watch for a little bit.
He had a bit of a probationary period before they put some clippers in his hand, but Dante was cutting before he
Like
got
before
in.
I got
Oh,
in.
okay.
That's one of the things that made him healing as an apprentice, I would say, is that he was cutting before he came into the shop.
So how long have you been cutting previously before you got into the apprentice?
I feel like I started more once I actually went out and bought clippers.
Mhm.
But if there was some around, I would try to cut hair, like my friends and
Okay.
my brother.
How
So
receptive were they when you were cutting their hair?
I mean, they seen the potential. You know what I mean? They was like, okay, I believe in them.
And again, this is just an episode just to kind of talk to Dante about his experience, what got him started, and why the apprentice. On our show, we want to give you gems. We want to make sure that you can think about it. Think about this industry in several different ways, because there's several ways to skin a cat. I, for one, not saying this because I went to school, but I see going to school, the benefits of going to school. But for some people like Dante, I see the benefit for him because, and that's the next episode we're going to talk about. How do you manage your life out of school to be able to come to school full time? Because that's something a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
And we're going to get Eric on it. Eric Cheeks.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk to him about that. I'm hitting him up.
Eric's going to be here?
I'm going to talk to him about that.
Okay. I like Eric.
Because he said he wants to be on the podcast. We're going to get him on there. But anyway, so Dante, now you've been there 5 months now. You've logged 5 months, say 160 hours a month times 5.
It's going off the top.
So that's about
put it in dollars. You have it done.
Get the calculator out.
5, 6, 7. So you're about maybe 750 hours. About around there, somewhere around the 750, almost 800 hours. So what are some of your challenges? And this right here is just for someone to think about who's maybe thinking about the apprenticeship, because we want to give it to them raw and let them understand, hey, there's benefits, there's cons, there's pros, everything comes around.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely cons to it.
One of the cons is like he doesn't know what he doesn't know. Like all he knows is what's in the barbershop. People show up, you cut their hair. Mm-hmm. That's like, outside of that, but whatever we tell him, it's hard for him to know more.
Right.
And one thing, when he originally came to me about the apprenticeship, I was like, nah, go to school, because it would be better.
Right.
But long term, I think it is better, because me and you both did apprenticeships and we seen the cons to it.
Right.
And it was almost like, for me, it's almost like,
but you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, it was like having a weight on my back, honestly, when I did an apprenticeship, and it was volatile.
But I could see the twinkle in your eye, the smile on your face, like, man, I'm just happy to be a barber.
Sir.
So what gives you that twinkle, that smile, is the energy?
I mean, I just want to get better. I see myself getting better every day, just learning.
Right.
It's something I feel like I can do.
I mean, well, the thing is, I know you can do it.
Yes,
I know you can do it. So give me one of your challenges, one of your most challenging times. We're gonna talk about the challenge, some of the best times in the shop, both ways. But matter of fact, let's talk. What's one of your best moments in the shop?
When I have the clippers in my hands, cutting hair.
Do you remember one of your favorite haircuts that you've done so far in the shop?
Yeah, I do. It was a taper.
Talk about
one of my friends. Ammi helped me through it.
That's okay. That's part of it. I mean,
Yes,
that's what he's there for. You know what I mean? Ammi is a hell of a teacher. He's gonna walk you through it.
Yeah, he walked me through it.
He wants you to get it more than you want to get it. Believe that. I know him.
Right.
So talk about that time when you was doing your taper. Talk about it.
Yeah, I was nervous a little bit because it was like one of my friends. I knew a barber he already went to. The barber was good, so I had to have myself at high expectations of the haircut.
See, and look, it's the same thing in school with apprenticeship. Right. Students judge themselves with other people.
Right.
It's the same thing. We talk about it all the time. Mm-hmm. So there's some similarities now when you're in apprenticeship and going to school. You are a student and you're still going to judge yourself. So that's one thing I think we should talk about. Try not to judge yourself if you're going to either angle.
But I know I went through like the same emotions that all the students are going through. I went through myself.
Right.
But it wasn't in a school. But I definitely went through that, comparing myself to other barbers, maybe just in the shop.
Right.
Or feeling like I wasn't good enough, or being disappointed because I didn't have haircuts coming. I went through all those emotions.
Or seeing what somebody else is doing, knowing you're not there yet.
Yeah, and you try to rush the process, but it doesn't happen. You're like, I don't know why, but it takes time to know why it's not happening the way you want it to happen.
Right. But this was just a teaser for you guys. We're going to come back and talk about this episode a little bit more. with my man Dante. Again, Barber College Success, brought to you by Craig Charles of Cronkers Academy JC and Ammi Fields of
Marion, Virginia. Marion, Virginia.
Am I Your Barber?
Am I Your Barber?
And my guy
Dante Brown.
Dante Brown, the apprentice. We're gonna get more in depth with that and talk about it some more.
Part one.
But we just want to give you guys a little teaser, a little taste of what's to come. He's gonna talk about his journey of being an apprentice. He's gonna talk about what he likes and what he hopes to get out of the apprenticeship and where he's gonna be in the future. What's his career goals? Again, Barber College Success, brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts JC, Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Bristol, and Craig Crown Cuts Downtown JC.